The evening city was loud and busy when Marcus, a young delivery driver, walked home after a long shift. His feet hurt, his back hurt, but something stopped him, a small cry, weak and shaking like it came from a place of fear. He turned his head slowly. There, near an old brick wall, sat a black homeless woman, wrapped in a torn coat. In her arms was a tiny baby shivering under a thin blanket. People walked past her like she did not exist. Some looked away. Some pretended they did not hear the crying, but Marcus could not ignore it. Something in that baby's voice called to him. The woman lifted her head. Her eyes were tired, but full of a strange strength, the kind that comes from pain and survival. She looked at Marcus the way someone looks when they are out of options. She whispered, her voice shaking, "Hold my baby. Please, I'll sing." Marcus froze. Why would a homeless woman ask a stranger to hold her child? Why now? Why here? The city noise felt far away. His heart started beating faster. She lifted the baby toward him gently, like she had already made peace with her decision. Marcus hesitated for only a second before reaching out. As soon as the child touched his arms, the woman slowly stood up. People walking by stopped. Some recorded with their phones. Some whispered. A few came closer. The woman closed her eyes and took a long, shaking breath. Then she began to sing. The first note was so strong, so deep, that even the cars passing by slowed. Her voice moved through the street like warm thunder. It was rich and full, carrying stories of pain, hope, and love. It was a voice that did not belong on the sidewalk. It belonged on a stage. Marcus felt the baby relax in his arms. The crying stopped instantly. The little one listened, eyes half open, as if the sound was magic made only for him. More people gathered. A teenager removed his headphones. A woman with shopping bags sat down on the pavement. A construction worker wiped his eyes without knowing why. Everyone felt something heavy. Something beautiful, but Marcus saw something no one else noticed. Her hands were trembling. Her breathing was uneven, and every time she hit a high note, she held her chest like she was fighting pain. She sang like it was not a performance, but a goodbye. When she reached the final line, her voice cracked, not from weakness, but from holding back tears. A single tear fell down her cheek as she stared at her baby. The street went silent. No one clapped. No one spoke. Then she whispered, so soft that only Marcus heard, "Thank you for letting me sing one last time." One last time? Marcus felt his stomach twist. What was happening to her? Why did she give him the baby? What was she hiding? The answers were coming, and they would break every heart on that street. The street was silent after her last note. Marcus held the baby close, unsure what to do. The child looked peaceful, almost smiling, but the mother, she looked like someone carrying the storm inside her chest. For a moment, she stood still, breathing fast. Her shoulders trembled. Her eyes stayed fixed on her baby, as if she wanted to memorize every detail, every eyelash, every curve of his small face. Marcus stepped closer. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She smiled gently, but it was the kind of smile someone gives when they're trying to hide pain. "I'm fine, baby. I'm just tired. Tired in a way sleep can't fix." The crowd watched quietly. A few people wiped their tears. A little girl whispered to her mother, "Why is she sad?" Her voice was so pretty, but the woman didn't look at anyone except Marcus and the child. A man from the crowd stepped forward, a security guard from a nearby store. "Do you need help? Should we call someone?" She shook her head quickly. "No doctors. No hospitals. Please." Her voice cracked on the word please. Marcus felt something heavy drop into his heart. Then the woman slowly sat down on the ground again, her back against the brick wall. Her breathing grew shorter, sharper. She pressed a hand to her chest, trying to hide the movement. Marcus knelt beside her. "Tell me what's wrong, please." She looked at him with eyes full of gratitude and sorrow. Life took everything from me. My home, my work, my family. But not my voice. My voice was the last thing I had. I wanted my baby to hear it. At least once. Marcus felt his throat tighten. She continued softly. I used to sing in churches, in small bars, anywhere they let me. My voice fed me, protected me. But when I got sick, everything went bad. I couldn't work. I lost everything. She touched her baby's tiny foot. He deserves better. He deserves someone who can take care of him when I can't breathe anymore. Marcus froze. When she can't breathe anymore? The crowd leaned in, shocked and confused. Tears began rolling down her face, but she didn't wipe them. My chest hurts every day. The doctor said I needed treatment. But I didn't have money. The sickness got worse. I've been feeling weaker each week. Marcus felt fear rising inside him. Are you saying you? She cut him off with a gentle look. I don't know if I have tomorrow. The words hit Marcus like a punch. A woman in the crowd gasped. Someone behind them began crying softly. The mother reached out her shaking hands toward Marcus. You held him so carefully. You listened to me. You saw me, please. If anything happens, don't let him grow alone. Don't let him become invisible like me. Marcus didn't know what to say. His hands trembled around the baby. She took one final breath, deeper than the rest, her voice barely a whisper. Take care of my little boy. If my voice ever stops. Marcus stared at her, terrified, because the way she leaned back, the way her eyes slowly closed, looked like her voice might stop tonight. Marcus felt panic rise in his chest as the woman's eyes slowly shut. Her breathing was shallow, weak, like a candle fighting against wind. The crowd moved closer, fear spreading from one face to another. Ma'am! Stay with us, Marcus said, shaking slightly. Her eyes fluttered open just a little, enough for her to see her baby one more time. A soft smile appeared, small, but full of love. The crowd wasn't silent anymore. A woman shouted, "Call an ambulance." A man pulled out his phone. Another knelt beside her, trying to help, but she raised a trembling hand. No hospitals. They'll take him away from me. Her voice was fading, small like dust in the air. Marcus shook his head. Ma'am, they won't. I'm here. I'm not leaving. I'll stay with your baby. I promise. Her eyes softened, as if that one sentence lifted a heavy weight off her heart. I sang tonight because I wanted him to hear me strong, she whispered. I wanted someone to see him. Truly see him. Not as a burden, not as trash on the street. As a child worthy of love. Tears rolled down Marcus's face. He had never felt so responsible for anything in his life. The baby squeezed his finger with a tiny hand, as if asking him not to let go. The mother looked around at the crowd. You all stopped. You all listened. For a moment, I wasn't invisible. A woman in the crowd began crying loudly. You're not invisible, she said. You're beautiful. Your voice touched every soul here. The mother smiled weakly. They never paid to hear me. But tonight, their hearts paid attention. Suddenly, her breath caught. She closed her eyes tightly, holding her chest. Marcus leaned forward, terrified. Please don't go, he whispered. Then something unbelievable happened. A group of people from the crowd knelt around her, not to record, not to stare, but to pray. Hands reached out. Strangers joined in. Their voices trembled, but they prayed like she mattered. Because now she did. For the first time in a long time, she felt loved. She opened her eyes slowly. Her gaze found Marcus again. You keep him safe, yes? Her voice was barely there now. Marcus nodded immediately. I will. I swear on my life. That promise made her exhale with peace. She whispered the last words she ever sang. My baby. You will not be alone." Her head slowly rested against the wall. Her chest stilled. The street fell silent again. Marcus felt the world freeze. A stranger's voice broke the silence. She's gone." People cried openly now. Not because they lost a singer, but because they lost a woman who had nothing except a voice big enough to shake their hearts. Marcus held the baby close, tears pouring down his face. "I got you," he whispered to the child. "I won't let you be alone." And from that night on, he didn't just carry a baby, he carried her last song, her last hope, and her promise